So I've been trying to do these deep dives and talk about cool things like, well, not super deep dives, but like just a little bit more behind the scenes. And this is a cool little thing that I put in Medal of Honor, um, where I just wanted to do an Easter egg type of thing. And if you go up to this window and press Use, these guys down here will do some fun animations. So this is the U-boat facility, and I did all of the Mission 2 in Medal of Honor Allied Assault. And, but I haven't done any blueprint stuff, mainly because I've been trying to finish Blitz Search, and by finish I mean just put the 1.0 mark on it and just try to have it stabilize and not be a big distraction for me. But there was a couple of nagging issues from before the holidays that I wanted to fix up, and those are the get ignore. Before we only had this use get ignore / blitz ignore files option, and you would either use them or not. But now you can have mix and match the options. Get ignore files, if you don't know, are for GitHub repositories. You park one at the root, and then you can describe certain files that might be like a cache file or something that you don't want to pollute your source code repository with. Now, in gaming, we have a lot of binary files that we'll submit to the repository. So I wanted to deal with that in a nice way where we could do something similar for Blitz Search. So that's what this Blitz ignore files is, and I have a pretty good use case for it all set up here. And when I did the MOHAA, when I started looking at this MOHAA stuff, yeah, there it is. So I found this that this .min file was showing up in the list, and I'll say yes. So I did a lot of shaders and stuff. So it shows the I had to save it there, but this is one of these min files, and these are like asset streaming. So we would try to get ahead of the request for the asset by putting them all in this file that describes the order that they were read. And typically that's used heavily at the first frame when the script's starting to set everything up. But we don't typically want to look at this file in the results. So you could use, in the past, you could use the file filter and say not.min, and that's one way to get rid of them. But you don't want to constantly have this, and you want something that you could submit to the repository so that anybody, a team of people who are using Blitz Search, could also not use that .min file and not have to have this. This would be for something more like, hey, I want results, but I only want results from M2l2A maps. So that would be a way to isolate that using the file filter. And that's the way that's intended to be used, and not all the time. So that was a cool thing that got updated. I finally got to fix those issues that I created myself. This global ignore was brought up by an end user, and that's something that I would learn about these .get ignores. Remember, my head's been in Perforce for many years, so Git's kind of new to me. So I learned about this global get ignore file and how it's set up and defined. And so Blitz Search now watches that one, and you can, let's see. So I have those mins. You can put those mins in the global get ignore. And of course, the best way to test the bug is to like try to demonstrate it, and you see that that doesn't actually update, so that's a new issue that I'll have to create for myself. But it did update when I reset the search, so I'm at least happy with that much. But yeah. So those are the things I've been working on, as well as, you know, simple stuff like this was a centered element, and it would always scroll out when I would try to do these demonstrations. And then settings, I'm still actively trying to reduce these. I'm contemplating removing search threads, or just making it a checkbox to go single threaded search versus just use all the threads. Parallel processing, when it comes to I/O, I found that it only benefits when up to like 4 threads or so, but I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm not sure actually, so I'm still working on simplifying and reducing the stuff in here. But we have this option here where you can show the scope image here in the background. It just helps you like know what your scope is set to if you have multiple scopes like I have set here. So that's pretty cool. And then so I was going to kind of just have some fun here and look at M2l2A.scr, that one. And I did some like crude colors. I have this drawing as a C++ file just so I can get some kind of like, it doesn't hurt my eyes, like even just having the comments show. But you can see this is still like very youthful. Nathan Silver's working on these scripts. The very first time that I would come to find that I could do this stuff. But it's kind of rough. You see comments, this stuff was all written in Notepad, so we didn't have a lot of help with things like style consistency and all that. But these $ here were how we would get objects from the map. So we'd have things with the key value pair of target name, and that would be the officer door target name. So we'd say $officer door, make it solid, and disconnect pass. So a lot of stuff in Medal of Honor translated over to Call of Duty, and that's because we went to the Return to Castle Wolfenstein engine, or their upgrades to Quake 3, and they just didn't have any scripting stuff. So we got to build our own scripting language, and we adopted a lot of things from Medal of Honor. So when I look at this, I see similar things like these level.variables. These are variables that are accessible from all over, not just whatever thread or scope that you have running. And I'm still trying to remember as I look at this how this is supposed to work. You see a lot of these are like labels. They're kind of like the I guess you have labels in C++, but yeah. Instead of saying go to, I think you might have had a go to in here. Let's see, go to, yeah. So we could go to a label, which is weird, or we could spawn another thread of execution and have it. And I think a lot of this worked the same way. It was executed in single thread, so spawning thread was kind of like just juggling the event, and we'd hit a wait, and it would just put that event on the stack. So again, these tabs were just there for us to help see things better. But we do have these in the control flows, the parentheses. But yeah, I'm seeing stuff like self. This was self would be whoever called this, and it's maintained in that thread. And then we had play sound. But I can see if I can find the place where they. I'm gonna search L2A and then search for guy. I always call everybody guy, so there's guy 03. This is kind of terrible. I should probably have said guy with the description. That would help somebody who was looking at this. I'm also seeing a lot of stuff where some sort of casing or using underscores would help readability. Century 1 toggle on. That's all. Like I did it here. Fence roll open. That's really helpful. But so it looks like, yeah, I have no idea. This looks like sound. Oh, this is a block comment. It's just not working very well in the in the C++ thing. So, but I am labeling what these sound descriptions are saying. Talking about the Naxos. Ooh, there's like some skill dependent accuracy. If is alive guy 1 and guy accuracy 100. I have no idea. The skills, if the skills is not equal to 0, oh, well that doesn't look right. So I'm checking to see if guy so this is like a copy and paste thing where I should be checking for guy 2 before set his accuracy. A lot of things in Medal of Honor were kind of passive, so we might not have noticed this. So setting guy 2, even though he's dead, his accuracy would just go under the radar. But yeah, bad commented code. Here's an extra space. But yeah, a lot of stuff that came down later on would kind of help to avoid this big helper thing for me to identify what all these random numbers meant. We would just have, you could just click on it and see what the dialogue was, or the style guide that we have later on in Call of Duty would have that right above wherever you called it from. So that's just old stuff that we learned to deal with. Well, that's cool. I used a vector length. Fancy. Oh, weight 50. So I think though, can't imagine that's wait 50 seconds. 50 seconds. Huh. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Wait 50 seconds. I was going to say those might have been in milliseconds, but I see a wait 3 and all that. So this is the intercom sound. Wait for people to talk. So that must have been like Wait, thread, wait. Let's see what that is. No idea what that means. Likey Norway. I print bold. That's we would use that name for the bold print in Call of Duty. Yeah, this is like really old stuff, so I'm trying to interpret what I did. But we had global scripts, and it's really weird how you call those scripts. You just space here is like, this is the list of parameters, and we say the first thing, and then another space would be the next parameter. So it was kind of hard to look at. It's kind of hard to look back at. Level dot stupid. Okay. So there you have it, some professionally written script. We did what we needed to do. It took me a long time to sort of think about how the scripts were written. I would tend to write them and forget them, and not write in a way that I would want to come back to and look at. So, and you know, I would be the owner of this script, where later on we would develop, we would share a level script. Somebody would be looking at something else, and they would want somebody to help come and help fix a bug, and so we'd just try to come together and agree on a consistent style for this stuff. So when you look at somebody, so like somebody might write all this stuff with everything nuzzled up against the side with no tabs, and you would want to go look at that person's script because it would just be very hard on the eyes. And so yeah, we've learned to communicate by writing better script later on. Kill this stuff. It looks like I never got around to killing this stuff. This is something that I would try to get away from by like Sledgehammer Guys should be a script called Sledgehammer Guys, and then we just call that out and have much less noise in it. Let's see how many lines are in this. It's really not that much. 1,300 lines to get that disguise level up and running. So I think there are some things that are, so these are properly you know, in a different script. Like the guy's playing the cards at the beginning of the thing, that's in its own script, and that's something that we would learn to do more in other games. And it looks like there's stuff to handle the alarms. It's actually kind of fun to look at that stuff. There's no way that I have this set to dive into, so I have to kind of go here. That script. Oh, so all the things with alarm lights as their target name would get the there was a Corona model that would spawn on top of the light bulb to show like the Corona on it. And they have cage. Okay, so we swapped the model, it looks like, and we wait. on the level we wait till there's a spawn event. And so in the future games this would be a string. That's kind of hard for me to understand what that is. Spawn is an event. But I know we would say level notify to make this thing happen. We also developed a better system for this in Call of Duty. We'd say flag wait player spawn or something like that. And this would, like, if you happen to execute this after the player spawn event, then this would just go ahead and continue. So it's yeah, something that we kind of wrestle with a lot. It's like the order of execution, and if you didn't get it right, you'd spend a lot of time trying to figure that out from the roots. So, alarm corona suck. Okay. So we show it, alarm light, we hide it. So it looks like this is a flashing behavior. And that's all it is. So pretty cool. Okay, so that's enough of the deep dive on this. There looks like we have a cool objective script and alarm system. Yeah, there you have it.